Visual communication. The communication through graphs, charts, pictures, maps, graphic designs, animations. Animations, short films, diagrams, pictures, short films, diagrams, pictures, and other computer images. You see too many ways of this communication. Such type of communication is called visual communication. Let's talk about the strength and weaknesses of visual communication. It is effective for receivers with poor skills in the language. Effective for receivers with poor language skills. They cannot read English, for example, but they can understand a graph or chart that is easy for them, if it is easy. If these are some economics graph that Mohsen is making, then it might become difficult. Especially when we are transmitting information to different countries, to different countries, people are speaking different languages. Sometimes we have some common language like English, but sometimes we might not have. At that time, the graphs and charts and pictures might explain the situation in a better way. It supports verbal communication. So I was saying that it supports spoken communication, because when you are speaking something, you can make some graphs like in economics on the whiteboard, and you can explain it in a better way that otherwise might not be possible. It supports spoken communication a lot with the help of graphs, pictures, diagrams. Sometimes it's a very simple way to present complex information. कल मैं आपको एग्जांपल दे रहा था ना कि आप कोई खोलते हैं घर लाके इंफॉर्मेशन बॉक्स किसी टेक्निकल प्रोडक्ट का, तो वो जो इंफॉर्मेशन बॉक्स है उसके ऊपर पिक्चर्स की मदद से बहुत सारी चीजें एक्सप्लेन हुई होती हैं. The explanation through pictures make it easy for you to install that scientific या कोई भी ऐसी प्रोडक्ट जो इंजीनियरिंग वाली होती है, जो otherwise would have been difficult for us. The receiver can understand messages more quickly with the help of charts and graphs. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for him to retrieve all the information. Can understand messages more quickly. Coming to the weaknesses of written communication. Visual methods of communication are always costly. Are costly. They are time consuming too. Making of them is time consuming too. Free. Sometimes, but in most of the cases, visual communication cannot be the only method. Like it has to be supported by some spoken or written messages. But the rest of the method that we have studied, that can be the only method of communicating the whatever you want to. Like in visual communication cannot be the only method. It should be supported with the spoken or the written details. Sometimes graphs, charts are difficult to understand by common people. Like economics graph, usually we are trying to explain inflationary and deflationary gap to the people by a graph. It would be very difficult to understand for those people who never studied economics. So this is what we call visual communication, the strength and weaknesses of visual communication.